Matt Smith here at Williams-Brice Stadium for Sports Talk at the Stadium, the spring game version where Gamecock fans showed up, yes, in force tonight to check out really the debut of Spencer Rattler in Garnet and Black in real game action that we could get our eyes on. And Spencer Rattler did not disappoint in terms of the athleticism he flashed and the arm strength, arm talent there for Spencer Rattler, the transfer quarterback, ostensibly the starting quarterback. Luke Doty may still have something to say about that, but based on the fact that Spencer Rattler was also named the Joe Morrison Offensive Player of the Spring based on his level of talent, it's hard to believe anybody other than Spencer Rattler will be taking the first snap for South Carolina come this fall. And yes, it was 20-13. Although the score rarely matters in a spring game, what does matter are the athletes that flashed and who might contribute come fall. And Spencer Rattler, of course, right at the top of that list. Marshawn Lloyd looks very healthy, very quick. I know Gamecock fans are happy to hear about that. 8 carries for 40 yards for Marshawn Lloyd, and most importantly, a couple of brilliant spin moves. He also showcased a little bit of power in the middle of the hole, which is something that Shane Beamer said in his post-game comments that he's been trying to encourage Marshawn Lloyd to run behind his pads more, use his strength, use that power that he runs with. And Lloyd certainly did that tonight. So he was impressive, and perhaps he will fulfill the promise of being such a highly recruited player coming out of high school for South Carolina fans this coming fall. Also, Juju McDowell just continues to impress. He was impressive last year in the fall, and McDowell just continues to impress, playing well. 6 carries, 57 yards, leading rusher on the night for the Gamecocks. He played with the Garnet team, playing alongside Spencer Rattler, so that could be a bit of a precursor to what we see sometimes. And by the way, Spencer Rattler, we should mention, I mentioned showcasing athleticism, not just in evading the rush, designed runs as well. So that's something that Shane Beamer, Marcus Satterfield utilized tonight for Spencer Rattler. On the receiving end of things, some of the real stars were the tight end position, a position that South Carolina fans know coming into the year they're thin due to injuries to Nick Muse and others. So Chad Terrell, a sixth-year senior, has moved from the wide receiver position over to the tight end position, making the most of his opportunity. 4 catches, 49 yards in the spring game tonight. And then in the post-game comments, Shane Beamer said, I expect Chad Terrell to contribute this fall. He's making the most of his opportunities. And then Chad Terrell, we had the opportunity to speak with him, and he said he thinks he needs to get up to about 230. So that's something to keep an eye on. I mean, what he comes into fall camp weighing, what the coaching staff wants to see from Terrell. And he certainly flashed tonight, making a brilliant play with his legs, 31-yard touchdown on a short pass from Luke Doty. We should discuss Luke Doty as well. Doty looked good in limited action, 7 of 10 passing. I don't know what South Carolina is going to do. He only played quarterback. He's coming off a significant injury. We have heard time and again that he's somebody that's athletic enough to contribute elsewhere. But Spencer Rattler coming in is Luke Doty now in a position where he's going to be the backup quarterback. It's great to have a backup quarterback the caliber of Luke Doty. That's a nice problem to have, but is that his future here, at least for the short term at South Carolina? It looks as though it's that way. I mean, it's hard to believe anybody, as I said, other than Spencer Rattler is going to take that first snap for South Carolina, and Luke Doty coming off an injury, probably not playing a different position. Maybe he starts off holding a clipboard. Doesn't mean he won't contribute somewhere during the season and in his career. Travian Kenyon, by the way, 3 catches, 46 yards from the tight end position as well. So South Carolina doing some things with that tight end position. I think that's something you would have guessed that Marcus Satterfield wanted to see, knowing they were thin there. Could they still have players that contribute? And they did. Tonight they had those players. They're still mismatches for linebackers based on the fact that they are lean athletes. Shane Beamer, by the way, in the post-game comments, complained about the kicking drills. They were doing kicking drills in between quarters, and he said they had more punts blocked than all of spring tonight during their drills. And I happen to be sitting next to Frank Beamer, in the post-game press conference, and he chimed in and said, yeah, I was going to say something about that. Something else we should say something about, by the way. So really, it's a spring game. This is what you often get. Great atmosphere. And so we'll end the confusion here. Steve Fink, the University of South Carolina sports information director, just simply put out a number tonight to the press. 20,671 came to see. He did this, by the way, on the heels of a joke. The first thing he said was, paid attendance tonight, 0, because it was free. It was the spring game. So they came in. More than 20,000 came in, and that was simply a number that came from somewhere. And Steve Fink announced it to the press. We all tweeted it out, and there was some backlash, I think, because the idea being that this fan base is not supporting Shane Beamer or whatever rabbit hole that leads toward. That was certainly not anybody's intention, I can tell you, that was sitting around me in tweeting out the number. Yes, with my eyeballs, I thought there was 30 to 40,000 here tonight, pretty much filling the lower sections of Williams-Brice Stadium, which we know holds a tick over 80,000. So, yeah, 30 to 40,000. I think that's safe to say. And there was no way of value judgment. I tweeted it out earlier, just tweeting it out from Steve Fink, and he's trying to shrug it off. So I think it's important that you know where these numbers come from. This is not a paid event. So somehow, some way, I don't know whether that number comes from the fire marshal, security, wherever it came from. It got to the SID. The SID gave it to the press. We gave it to you. And I certainly understand if you think that number's low, because I think it's low. Shane Beamer, for his part, said it was low. He said 1 billion percent there were more than 20,000 people at Williams-Brice Stadium tonight. And he said over and again what a great atmosphere it was, what a tremendous environment it was, what an advantage it was to have that environment and showcase that to some of the recruits coming as well. And, Shane Beamer always thinking about the next class, building this program for the future. So it was a great environment. It was a raucous environment. It was a loud environment when 2001 and Sandstorm played at the outset. So South Carolina, I believe, got everything it wanted out of the spring game. No injuries or major injuries coming out of the spring game. And you got to see Spencer Rattler run around and throw the football. And you can see exactly why NFL scouts are all over him and why South Carolina fans are excited about what he could do and how he could elevate this offense. And I can certainly see it. I could see it. He has the ability to make plays that most South Carolina quarterbacks in its history have not had the ability to make. Just that baseline talent, baseline arm talent and athleticism. Spencer Rattler has it. We also got to speak to him in the post game. He was excited about being here, said a tremendous environment. He said he made the right choice in coming to South Carolina. So, Gamecock fans, I think you've got a lot to look forward to this fall. Of course, we'll talk about it on Sports Talk. Phil Kornbluth, myself, Pat Daniel, and you. Be sure to follow along on Twitter at Sports Talk SC. Follow our website, sportstalksc.com, and you can hear what Shane Beamer had to say for himself. So that's it. Matt Smith from Williams-Brice Stadium. Until this fall, we'll see you on Sports Talk.